This is Tom. Tom wakes up every morning just in time to brush his teeth, shower, put on his clothes, and get to work on time. He leaves no time in the morning for himself to do the things he loves, like meditating, exercising, and eating a healthy breakfast. Most of the time, Tom hits traffic on his way to work. But that's okay because it gives Tom time to think about his life. The only problem is Tom only thinks about things like his bills, how he should be taking better care of himself, and how he'd like to be providing more for himself and his family while he's sitting in traffic. Come to think of it, there is never a time that Tom stops thinking about these things. All day, all night, his mind consumes him. Tom is so stressed by his ongoing thoughts that he finds that he can never be fully present for anything in his life. He's always living a future worst-case scenario in his head. This is a float tank. Tom saw an ad just like this one about floating. He felt a little apprehensive at first, but thought it would be a good thing to try. When Tom walked in for his appointment, he was astonished at how large it was and felt relieved to know that he had full control over his experience. When Tom laid down inside, he discovered a unique feeling of floating effortlessly, like a cork, due to the incredible amount of Epsom salt in the water. It was a little weird at first, but after a few minutes, Tom got used to it. He thought to himself, I bet this is what I would feel like if I were to float in outer space. See, Tom was experiencing what zero gravity felt like for the first time in his life. Next, Tom started thinking about a lot of other things, but eventually, something magical happened. All of his thoughts subsided. Something about the dark and quiet nature of this new environment put him in a peaceful state. Instead, Tom's attention started turning to his body. He noticed how decompressed his body felt. He noticed how the water temperature felt like the same temperature as his skin. He noticed how the only thing he could hear was the sound of his breath and the gentle beat of his heart. For the first time in months, Tom realized he had broken free of the stress response. After his float session ended, Tom stepped out and felt a deep sense of gratitude for his experience. The only thought in his head was, I need to do this more often. Tom came home that night and noticed he had less pain, slept better, and had more attention for his family. So he decided to do it a few more times. Before Tom tried floating, the only thing he had to lose was his stress. Now, Tom uses the float tank more often to help reduce his stress, stay more present, and have an overall better feeling about life. Let's all give Tom a big hand